Most crimes are 100% recidivistic, yet they still let them out knowing damn well they're going to commit those crimes again. Or in the case of the Texas shooter, the U.S. Navy knew what a dirtbag, what a dangerous, weirdo, zombie son of a bitch this guy was, and they didn't report the indicators of weird zombie son of a bitch activities that the guy was guilty of.
It's been a while. I'm still a little upset with him because I was planning on going hunting with him from a helicopter. Last time he floated the idea, we were excited about it, and now he appears to be calling from what is a small
Indian gift giver of ideas.
A small Cabela's filled with dogs. Or is this your own humble abode, Mr. Nugent?
Yeah, I don't believe in man caves. I got a man's cuckoo's nest. I got more debris and more sporting goods and more weaponry than all the sporting goods and military arsenals combined. I get high on gunpowder stink.
Is this your, what is this? Is this your garage? Is this just a shed that's just, I mean, I'm seeing like 9 bows behind you. I don't know what that is. It's insane.
Nine? I don't know, man. I think there's like 9D. Look up on that wall. No, I'm in my shop in the swamps of Michigan. This is where I've accumulated 69 years of cocked, locked, and ready to rock the Glock dock outdoor celebrations. So I got a lot of bows and arrows. And I wish I could show you the buck pole that we just took all the deer down from and gave away the carcasses to our friends and neighbors. We had a sagging white-tailed deer buck pole here at the Nugent Swamp, so I'm a pretty happy son of a bitch right now.
I can. He's almost with the rhymes. He's like a firearm Muhammad Ali.
Now, I want to see a mashup of him and Diamond and Silk.
Him and Diamond and Silk.
Awesome.
That would be. Now, so listen, what do you say, because this question is going out when someone says, why do you need 10 assault weapons, Ted? Why do you need 10 compound bows? That's a question that's really popular right now in the wake of a man saving people's lives with his assault weapon, to be clear.
Well, it's not a bill of needs, it's a bill of rights. And 10 billion, not 30 billions of Americans. I don't know anybody that doesn't own 25 to 125 firearms. We like firearms. I got more than one blowtorch. I got enough horsepower in the other to cause Al Gore to have a heart attack every 2 minutes. I got a Jack Roush-fired Bill Strop Ford Bronco out there with 850 horsepower, and I've got it tuned up so it goes exactly 625 yards to the gallon. But my point is that,
so does Al Gore, so it ties back in.
I'm a piker. I mean, I haven't got diddly. I mean, this is only my shop ammo supply behind me here. I'm down to my last, I think, 600,000 rounds. Why not? Because when the family shoots, sometimes we go full auto, and we'll shoot a couple thousand rounds in an hour. And when we train and have competition, have fun. And the bottom line is, I have all that horsepower, but don't mess with me till I break the speed limit.
Right.
And all of us that have Hellcats and high horsepower machines, which I think everybody I know does, you can't mess with us because our cars might go fast. You have to wait for them to go fast to give us a ticket.
Well, you ever think that the reason everyone you know has high horsepower vehicles and over 600 weapons is because you took out the ones who didn't? Is there some selection that goes on there?
Well, I think the cream goes to the top, and those of us that really celebrate the American dream, we know how to live. We don't buy junk. We buy firepower and hunting supplies. It's just my lifestyle. I've been doing this for 69 years. I've never missed a hunting season in 69 years. And I am so solidly in the asset column. I'm almost like Mother Teresa with ammo. I mean, the venison that I distribute to homeless shelters and soup kitchens and to the vets and to neighbors and friends. I mean, I'm doing God's work here. So those that would criticize me because I do too much God's work might want to kiss my hindquarter.
Yeah, I think Al Gore might be lining up. And by the way, just for future reference, you don't need to help him with any of the heart attacks. I think he's got those bases covered on his own.
Oh, yeah.
He goes in for a Swedish massage.
Well, not that, but he can't have a heart attack because he hasn't got a heart.
That's why he hates petroleum. Every time he cuts himself shaving, it just spills out.
Yes, exactly. I don't know how he still manages to have a coronary without a heart.
No
he is
one knows.
A marvel of science.
Mystery.
So, obviously, Mr. Nugent, after the shooting that occurred in Texas, we just so happened to be lucky where the man's daughter was a fan of the show, so we had an exclusive with Stephen Williford on this show. He didn't want to do any other media. No one in the media to this day I know has covered that Stephen Williford protected people with his AR-15. The narrative has been mind-numbing to the point where, if I've said this, if my reasoning is reductive, it's because it's the only way I know how to process, for example, the domestic violence loophole. By the way, in case anyone's wondering, the loophole is just he broke the law. So have you been following this in the media back? How predictable is it? And the one question I want to zone in on is it disturbingly trending right now to see that the media really moves on from the coverage and we don't hear a lot of information in the wake of these? It seems like politicization immediately.
Well, number one, Stephen, we the people of truth, logic, and common sense, and goodwill and decency and law and order, we salute you for bringing that truth to the forefront. I'm well aware of what you're doing out there. That's why we're here today together, because my friends and I have decided that you deserve me. Because truth, common sense begets truth, logic, and common sense. You know, when that happened, I was a bunch of military and law enforcement guys and a bunch of NRA guys. And we always know, those of us that are not, brainwashed and propagandized by the fake news orgy of what used to be journalism and the anti-education of academia and the criminal enterprise of the Democrat Party and all things therein, we know that it's never about hardware. It's about bureaucratic failure. Mm-hmm. And this is a what the U.S. Navy, and I got a bunch of Navy buddies. I trained with the SEALs, and Marcus Luttrell is my dear friend and blood brother. So these are my close kin. But that the U.S. Navy is a bureaucracy, which, of course, is responsible for colliding ships and craters.
That's my dog. Sorry, we have him as a guard dog in the studio.
So we know that it's never a matter of hardware access, because when I was first born in 1948, you get a Thompson submachine gun through the Sears mail order catalog delivered to your door for like $94. And there was unlimited access to firepower then, and none of this ever happened because the dumbing down of America has manifested itself in a cultural deprivation and abandonment of what made America great, and that is neighbors really caring about neighbors and people adhering to the Ten Commandments, the Golden Rule, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and a sense of decency and accountability with the people in our lives. And even though that's alive and well, it's everywhere across America. All that wonderful, good, and positive is everywhere. But you have the occasional dirtbag out there, whether it's Las Vegas or Sandy Hook or in Sulphur in Texas. Those are aberrations, and we should never be controlled and regulated based on the criminal activity of freaks that has been facilitated by the U.S. government. Write this down, Stephen. The crime rate in this country is, here it is, engineered recidivism. It's engineered recidivism by our failed court system that knows that most crimes are 100% recidivistic, yet they still let them out knowing damn well they're going to commit those crimes again. Or in the case of the Texas shooter, the U.S. Navy knew what a dirtbag, what a dangerous, weirdo, zombie son of a bitch this guy was, and they didn't report the indicators of weird zombie son of a bitch activities that the guy was guilty of. So the results are predictable.
Right. It's kind of like the Charlie Sheen sex offender news coming out. It's like, well, up is down, down is up. It's not as though you could say, we didn't see this one coming. This is a scenario where they should have. By the way, +1 for Sears catalog reference. Jared is too young for that. Sears catalog is where you could purchase a firearm, mini bike, and that back then is where you looked at women's lingerie. I had them stuffed under my bed. J.C. Penney got a little more racy in the 90s. So when I consider myself a fortunate young man, it's a point you zone in on there, Ted. The lack of education. I've always said this issue takes place between gun owners and the ignorant. I think it was Samantha Bee just saying, listen, 94% of Americans support gun control. No. The poll is 94% of Americans support background checks. Well, if you ask everyone here, all firearm owners, we say, well, sure, we support the background checks, which are already in place. They take that and say 94% support an assault weapons ban. It's a bait and switch that is proactive, and it leaves no room anymore for the possibility that they're ignorant. I mean, I've got to imagine, as a guy who's an enthusiast yourself, who's in the know, it drives you nuts.
Well, and again, what nobody will ever state, and I'll say it right here on a communication network that does celebrate and drive home truth, logic, and common sense. The National Instant Check Background System was authored by the National Rifle Association of America, because it was a common sense maneuver that stop the wrong people from getting, well, theoretically would stop the wrong people from getting guns, but the bad guys don't seem to care about having instant check or long range check or waiting periods or gun buyback programs. Bottom line is, Stephen, up appears to be down and down appears to be up if you watch most of the media and if you listen to the left wingers. But let me tell you, I just said goodbye to a bunch of great families here in Michigan. They went home after a great deer hunt. We raised money for the military charities, we raised money for the children's charities, and generous, loving, giving, hardworking American families who bust their ass to be in the asset column. They give and give and give. And I've never met a person. I just did the greatest tour of my life, did 53 unbelievable rockouts in 68 days, and I met people every day, and they're like you and me. Logic, common sense, directed by self-evident truth, and all those pillars of quality of life. Again, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Golden Rule, a sense of decency, law-abiding, law and order. It is alive and well all across this country. I'm surrounded by these guys and gals every day at my deer camp in Michigan. I'm on my way to Texas. So I know that weirdos exist. I know that zombies exist that think that animals have rights and that if you ban guns, that the gun crimes will stop. But believe me, sensible, educated, common sense Americans outnumber those dirt bags in a huge way. So feel confident that when you say Happy Thanksgiving here in a couple of weeks, that we can still give thanks that we, the people, are on the right track. We're on a true north compass setting, but we can't let legislation be directed by some dirtbag who shot up a bunch of innocent people in a church because the U.S. Navy forgot to mention that he was a dirtbag.
Yeah, and it is. Jared, you
well,
hit
I say it's not just the weirdos that we outnumber. It's the everyday leftist activists too. That it's smokescreen to make you think they're huge numbers. That's why you can't get anyone to show up at the Scream at the Sky event. There's more press to cover the Scream at the Sky
than
event
the actual protesters.
Than the actual protest. It was so sad.
We have to get going here because I know Ted is busy and we have Ben Shapiro coming up. But yeah, that's a big reason Michigan went red. I love that video of you talking about how Michigan came home. One of the biggest issues was firearms because you have a lot of Democrats who are hunters in the Midwest and Michigan, and Hillary Clinton was seen as so rabidly anti-gun. So when I see this, I say, you know what? Lay it on a little thicker, CNN. Keep it coming because you're going to keep on losing these blue states. It's your single biggest losing issue. Mr. Nugent, where's the best place for people to find you? I know you just finished up this kick-ass tour, but what should people be looking for?
Well, I have a wonderful Facebook. I have millions and millions of people on Facebook. We communicate every day, and you can see that positive spirit and positive energy and the love and the goodwill and the effervescence that is all things Uncle Ted. It just glows on my So I look forward to people communicating because when the dirt bags surface, it's kind of fun to have a punching bag of stupidity, and we have a lot of fun with that. So you're right. Democrats, stay on course. You're providing us more humor than when Richard Pryor's afro ignited. This is great time.
Yes, and there you go. He's like post-redemption Ebenezer Scrooge, only he shoots animals. Oh. Hey, if you like this video, subscribe by clicking the button that says subscribe. If you're not aware of it now, there's no way you're learning the internet at this point. I'm not going to help you. But this was clipped from my daily show, available exclusively to LottoWithCrowder.com/MugClub members. If you're a student, military, or veteran, enter in that promo code. It's less than $6 a month, and you get daily content. No more clips, plus this hand-etched mug. Oh, when I feel it, I got a chill like on the inside.